Great. Okay. We're bowing with the pocket. Great. Onegaishimasu. Great. Okay, we'll just start where we finished off, just working with the first saburi. Again, just a little bit of motion, just walking through the feet. Keeping the right side forward, finding that step. Back into motion. Opening for the Okay, great. And then we're going to make this a little bit more active. So now, rather than being on the spot with the raise, finding the back, we're going to shift the body forward, but we're just going to focus on the raise. So again, working with movement, you're going to sink into the back foot and find the raise with the sword, and just kind of settling the body. Again, the key thing is keeping that feeling of being underneath. So you want to avoid, especially in this one, is this idea of kind of raising up through the upper body. So the key thing is feel the center of gravity. Really sink down as you find it. Just want that feeling of like you're hanging underneath the sword almost. And look at one side, shifting in the weight. Finding the top of the movement. Yeah, just the kind of test of that kind of position. Again, this feeling of being underneath the weapon. So just find the same movement, find this, and then just allow the sword and the arms to drop down. Now, what you should feel is that there's no real adjustment happens in the body in terms of kind of I get kind of caught up, and then I drop the arms and everything kind of lowers down. So the key thing in that feeling is when you have the sword up and you lower, again, you should have that real feeling of being down. There's no need to kind of adjust the weight of the body down because you're already basically this feeling of being kind of hugging the ground almost, dropping down. You feel totally kind of grounded in that moment. And again, the idea isn't to kind of block those adjustments, but to listen to them. There are obviously going to be kind of micro adjustments happening in the body all the time, but kind of working with the ground rather than kind of holding yourself off it. Great, and we'll just slowly work into the curve. So again, now what you're going to do is find that you'll basically do that same motion, but you do it all now in one. Comes together. So the drop down of the arms is going to happen in the same movement. Move around a little bit, sink into the back leg, set, bring the sword forward, and then set into the curve. Just a kind of practice of basically placing the weight or moving the weight of the body in space, really grounding the body through that movement. Want to move from really one settled position to another. Second one, slightly more active. Great, and then just taking it into the curve. So you want that same feeling, really raising up, settling, finding the curve. A little bit. Yeah, great. And then again, it goes back to this really simple exercise we did before, like this. Use the same idea. So you're going to have this hand working in hammy, pressing in. You're going to raise up a little bit, sink in the hand. So, and again, if you do this, not necessarily wrong, but in a way where I'm going to get kind of stuck and unbalanced, this kind of way, you will feel the body automatically gets kind of pulled forward. Now, I'll either resist that by pulling the body back, or like grip it with the toes, or fighting the knees, or you just kind of fall flat forward, kind of have to step through it. So just play with this motion. You're going to raise up a little bit, sinking down. Raise up a little bit, sinking down. Again, just listen to the body a little bit. So you want to eventually work towards something where you're nice and grounded, nice and settled, but also have that freedom, the joint system. A little bit easier in this kind of position to feel the tension of the body. Yeah, and one thing, just watch with this one is there's an idea. It's like when you commit the weight, probably easy if you think about this like a punch. So if you think about like coming forward with a strike, you want obviously all the weight to be coming forward into the strike. Obviously with a grounding movement, you wouldn't want to kind of have this sense of kind of pulling back with the body. Like the body's moving back this way and the punch is being delivered this way. So the difficult part in this, in terms of the balance work, is committing fully to the direction to the front without having the sense of the body having to kind of pull back with it. So just explore that with this movement, with the hands here, and also with the cup. But just think about like fully committing into that direction. Means the back needs to be really full in the motion. Otherwise, what happens is I get kind of pulled into it, and then I get this kind of rocking with the body. And again, just listen to the body. If you get those kind of rocking motions, listen to them. They're just that kind of, they're just the body kind of telling you about the balance in the body. But really get this feeling of committing fully to that front direction without having to feel like you're kind of resisting backwards, pulling backwards with the body. Fully committed, all the power is being delivered forward, but we're also really being grounded.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, we'll take this now into a backward shift. So obviously the forward one in a way is kind of easier because everything's going forward. My aim is forward, my target's forward, the body's shifting forward. Now you've got the idea that you're going to draw the body back whilst maintaining the extension forward. In a way that the body in a way is splitting in terms of its function. So you want the idea of moving back, pressing into the space behind, but keeping that extension forward. Just play with this now again. Just play with it, play with the movement. Don't feel you need to cut every time. You can play with just raising up through the body. You can play with sinking down through the cup, just settling the body. Or you can bring in the focus. So you're now pressing from the front up, raising up, sinking back into the cup. All those points in mind. Nice committed movement as if you're pressing the space behind you. Step down, extending out forward. Great. Okay, we'll take this into a yokomaruchi. So again, just stay in motion with the body, moving around a little. And then this time you're going to obviously settle into the front leg. Find the yokomaruchi, just sinking down one cut at a time. This time mixing left and right. Settle into it. Find the ground. Nice and calm. Okay, great. Okay, now you're going to work with a backward step. So the first thing, don't think about the focus, just think about that shift in the hip where you roll the body back. So again, you've got that same idea, you're drawing the body back whilst also extending out forward. So really focusing on that very first movement. You just want to kind of press the body back. Don't worry about the focus yet, just this idea of rolling the hips, pressing the body back into the space. Bit nice to agree with the movement, working both sides. Light body back. Great. Okay, we'll just say this is a really simple exercise. So there's a tendency, especially with this one, the feet, there's a tendency here, if I'm going to go backwards, is to load the front foot, load the movement in the front of the body, and then adjust the back leg, and then find that kind of movement. And you get this kind of rocking movement because the body's basically pulling forward and then coming back. So, but what you want to do in this case is really have this smooth movement just back this way. So just a super simple exercise. Just stand with the feet shoulder width apart, and you want the bands really weighted totally in the center of the body. And then if you think about just moving one of the feet, it's really easy. You just step back with it, right? So you don't need to shift any weight. You don't need to load the foot. You just have the weight in the center, and you shift the leg back. You get the weight center, shift the weight. So the weight is coming into the opposite leg, but it's not. What you don't do is like load first and then do it that way, right? Yeah. Breathe. Yeah. Good. And just to say, just with the weight in the front, just with the hands in front, put a little bit of an extra weight in front. But again, you don't want to feel that you load the leg first. Just feel that you're weighted in the center, 50-50. Choose a foot, step back. Choose a foot, step back. Foot, step back. Yeah. Right. Okay, good. And this one gets a little bit trickier in a way. So you want to be now in hand. So you want that same feeling, the weight in between the feet, 50-50. So again, that tendency now is to do something like this. I load the foot, I change the foot, and then I step back with it. Again, you want to minimize all those movements, so settle into it this way. And then you want to feel the very first movement is the hip roll. So that hip rolls without this kind of loading to the front. You want to roll the hip and then settle in that foot. So roll the hip, that foot should feel really free. The hip should feel free. And then you roll the body back into it. Play with that, both sides. The key to it again is that very first moment. So you don't want to feel that the body's weighted either way. You want to feel as if you're standing shoulder width apart. That same feeling. You're just in a triangular stance. And roll the body back. And this way, if you mix in the stepping forward and stepping back or rolling back a bit, you'll notice that this is why the forward is really easy because I don't need to make any adjustments at all in this foot. You just pass the way through it, step forward. And then it's the roll back, which is actually difficult, I can get around this by doing this. I keep the foot out in this direction and then just step back into it. And then I adjust the foot. But you know, if you go fast with this, one thing you're kind of unbalanced. And the second thing, if you do this a lot, you're tending to really strain the knee a lot. So to keep this kind of flexible in terms of the movements, you want to really keep the knees pointing with the toes all the time. You don't really want the movement to be like this kind of way. You can create a lot of strain on the body. But again, just play with the forward motion, play a little bit with motion. Yeah, you want to keep that nice weighted 50-50, go back into it. Mixing forward, backwards. Just really taking the arm work out a little bit, just focus on the footwork. And footwork. Okay, good. Now, just basically combining movements, but keeping it static. So you're going to work in movement to start. And just you want to make 2-3 cuts. But you want to now start the cut into one. You can mix in yokome. Find the ground. Find the ground. Do 2 or 3 cuts and then just come back into movement. And mix in the forwards and backwards as well. So really mix these ideas in. Again, should feel that you can go in any direction. Nice, smooth transition into movement. Mix in a little bit of movement in between. Okay, we're just going to switch into number 2, into the second saburi. We're just doing a few variations on it. So the first one, again, it's got that same motion. You've got the roll back in the hip, raise into the top. Sinking into the body this way. Just focus on that. Get nice, comfortable 50-50 here. And then you want straight away, rolling the hip, lowering the body back, open the hips out, finding the top, sinking into the curve. You display a bit of flexible motion from it. So you want the center to be really pressing in, grounding to the curve. You imagine moving from the center of the body. Good. We'll just mix in two groups with this now. So keeping the hands, in this case, the right hand stays on the sword. In this case, you're going to do that same motion, rolling back the hip. Let the hand just come down. The sword, so you really open out, letting the sword drop down. And then again from here, let the hips come in. So you're releasing the left hand. Letting the sword really drop down towards the ground. Hanging down. And then starting with the core. Finding the cut. Take your time with it, finding the ground. Keep the hips open. Great, and then we'll bring in the other one. Again, keeping the same body work. Now, again, releasing the left hand, but drawing up to the top this time. And this time you've got the thumbs kind of coming in together this way. So kind of going to a blocking position, a holding position. Hips open out, hands nice and up. Keeping the shoulders down, the elbows heavy. And then from here, coming into the cut. Same body motion, just a different orientation with the arms. Find the top. With the center. Okay, great. Now, what I want to start exploring is the same position. So the arms, so you've got the top, you've got down, you've got this position. But explore now in rotation. So you're going to find a curve, find a rotation to the back, find the position, find the next curve. And you can work any way with this rotation. Find the rotation, find the kamai, find the curve. Find the rotation, find the kamai, find the curve. Just remix them in. Rotate any way you like. Find the ground, find the curve. location. Fine. Be grounded. Not that one. Okay, good. What I want you to do now is similar, but you just want to combine them into a kind of set. So have a kind of fixed start and end to it, but try and fit in all three of these kind of variations. So you've got to come in up to the top, this way, and kind of basic, rolling up to the top, through, or this one kind of coming down. One kind of three cuts and three micro positions. And just find it. You can either find another set or keep repeating the same one. Fit them all in. Something doesn't feel quite right, just make small adjustments to it. Or try a totally different set. Great, let's make so. Just now you want to play with the flexible motion. So the key part now is as you find these locking positions or the kamae positions, you want to transfer into the cut. Find the position, find the cut. Those are the key parts that you can pause in the cut or you can pause at the cut, but try and find out. Find the kamae, find the cut. They kind of flow into each other. Again, you can work with a set or you can work with an individual. Slightly explore it, more flexible. Okie dokie, great. We will stop right there. Great. Domo, arigato. Domo, arigato. Great. Good. We'll take another break. Start again.